little different. What up? What up? What up? What up, Knicks fans? It is your boy Rem.
And I'm Royale.
Shout out to Syfe, man. Shout out to Weed. Shout out to Stats and the whole Knicks family. Mike Ortiz, you already know what's good, y'all. Today's title is Julius Wants Out. No, thank you. And Knicks still fighting to get in the play-in? I'm not too sure about that, but you already know what the deal is.
There's the ship.
The ship is gone. It is gone. But you already know what the deal is. It is NY Knicks Work. Follow us on all of them platforms, Instagram, Twitter. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe on YouTube and listen to them podcasts on them streams. You already know. And as we always do, we start off with some Knicks trivia. And today's trivia, we going to hold an answer to the end, but drop this in the comments if you do know this. It's March Madness. What former Knick is also an NCAA champion, NBA champion, and All-Star MVP? If you know the answer, drop that. Roy, you know the answer?
Nope.
I found out the answer, but I'm not going to lie. I didn't know. I didn't remember this guy was an All-Star MVP. But we will definitely get to that at the end. Let's get to topic number one, though, because you actually told me about this. You dropped this gem the other day, and this was after who did we beat?
We had beaten the Bulls.
Oh, yeah, we beat
Right
the
after the
Bulls.
Bulls.
Right after, yeah, we beat the
Minutes.
Bulls, yes. And we got the report that Julius wants out.
It was a rumor.
Julius wants out.
Yeah.
And you know what's so funny about this? You ever seen somebody like do a really, really bad job, right? And then they're about to get fired from their job, and they know that firing is coming, and then they walk into work one day and they like, nah, you know what? I'm handing in my resignation right now. and they're like, dude, you were fired, man. Like we fired you. Like, what are you talking about, man?
No need to force your way out.
Like I don't know if he tried to like George Costanza the movement and come and show back up to work. Like, I don't know what the deal is, but there were reports that Julius requested a trade, and then later he denied those reports. Talk to me, Roy. Like, what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, it came out as a rumor, but I mean, listen, I don't even think there's any call for it. There's no way he wants to be here. He's cooked. He's over it. The relationship with him and the fans is burnt. You hear, things about him and Tibbs not always being on the same page. Don't know if that's necessarily true. They seem to pretty much they seem to stick up for each other a lot. So, that's probably just, regular things that happen between coaches and players, ups and downs. But otherwise, I mean, that after that Bulls game, he really had the can't wait to clock out look walking back to that locker room, man.
And it's crazy.
I think that was very telling, yo.
And Twitter was like killing him because it was just like, yo, they compared the Bulls and the Hornets game, and they're like, yo, man, it's like night and day. Like the Bulls game that they won, he stormed off, he slammed the ball, went off to the locker room, and then we hear reports of a trade request, and then lost to the Hornets, and it was like all dandy. He's happy, he's dapping up Miles Bridges, and it was like, not saying you can't have sportsmanship, but it was just like night and day. And we all know this has been happening all season, the boos and everything. Like, he's been getting booed. We've spoken about this on the show. I've spoken about it. Julius, he's my guy, but like, I'll keep a spade. Like, he's been playing like garbage, and he has to find a new home. I don't know where that will be, but it's crazy. And there's a whole attitude adjustment needed, but. You got anything else on Julius, man? I don't know, man.
I mean, he played a decent game. There was definitely, a lot of things that happened in that game that I saw that was like, more of this. But it is what it is at this point, man. I mean, just preference-wise, I've seen what this team looks like when they don't have somebody who plays his style on the floor, and I'm kind of leaning towards that direction. So I'm kind of just waiting for the team to move on and either get something moving that, to where our rotation can look something like what we've seen those past, 4 games before this one, but with the addition of at least a package that's at least equal to, or I'll even take just under the value of Randle. I think that's probably what we're going to have to settle for. We're going to have to take something that's like just under value, but I think we can be rocking with even just that.
You got anybody? Any names? Any?
It's tough when you're talking about Randle because you gotta. there's so much things you got to account for. The fact that a lot of teams are going to see him and see, okay, he's not playing well, so not really sure how he can help us. But if you see a team that may need somebody who can bring what he needs, then they could be thinking, do we really need somebody with that attitude there? So who knows what we can get for him, man.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. You guys know I always come up with crazy takes. I'm going all in, and I'm trying to see if I could get either Cat or Dame here, and I'm getting Lillard and our first-round pick involved. Yes, I said it. I'm getting our first-round pick involved because I'm not too crazy about this year's draft, to be honest with you. I'm not crazy about it. I know there's a lot of I like Paolo Banchero. I don't think we're going to get him, but that's all I see. But hopefully they get something going. But as you said, let's get to topic 2 because you just said something that the Knicks, we had a little winning streak. Finally, a little bit too late, but the Knicks have had a winning streak. Yes, we won our last 4 out of 5, and we beat some solid teams. And the young core, they're showing us some positive signs for the move forward. So what you seen from the young core? Is there anybody you like to call out? The person I got to talk about somebody. He's topic 3, but I definitely said something last episode, and he must have seen Knicks work, man. Boy must have seen Knicks work. But I got this picture over here on Twitter, man. This picture right here, and I'm looking at this core 8, and it says, man, I want the Knicks to build like a small market. And I'm looking at this core 8, and I really like this. Deuce, McBride, Deuce, Grimes, Quick, RJ, Obi, Cam Reddish, Mitchell Robinson, and Jericho Sims. And that's just the core. That's the core that we would start at. That's 8 players right there. That's a solid core to build like a small market team and put some decent players around them and some veterans, because we'll get Derrick Rose back next year. We'll probably get Carmelo Anthony on his last year, and we'll, things like that, and then we can make moves. But how you feeling about this young core and how they've been playing?
I like it, man. I'm right now. I'm seeing you're seeing a lot of guys. I feel like there's guys on this team, they've kept their individual goals in mind, on top of the fact that, I feel like they legit want to play with each other. They legit want to compete, but I like the fire in these guys to base that, basically shown that they want to up their value. They want to up their minutes. I think IQ has done a very good job in making improvements as a point guard. I'm almost satisfied. I'm almost in a place where, come draft time, if we're not looking at Jaden Ivey, if we're not looking at maybe like Johnny Davis or something like that, I'm not sure if I want anybody. I'm not sure if I want anybody else when we got Emmanuel Quickley. Yeah. I feel like I'm almost to that point because, of course, he's gonna show he's gonna show his growing pains. There's still few hiccups there with decision making and also just being quick on getting the ball out. Does a lot of dribbles, but you're not going to get everything down in one season. But he's beginning to make improvements. Of course, you got to talk about RJ. Going into that leadership role, he's been looking amazing. He's been putting on masterclass after masterclass. Yeah. But I'd say I've been most impressed by Emmanuel Quickley, man, and I even love from what I've seen from Obi Toppin. But I feel like that's something that's kind of been there. It's just a matter of him getting his reps in. Yeah. And just being able to get that opportunity to show it.
Well, let's stay with Quick real quick because Quick stepped it up. He really stepped it up this season. Since January, they put up a graphic of his last 18 games, and his averages were he was averaging 15 points per game on 44% from the field, 41% from 3. And he's, going to be extremely important moving forward. So Quickly's definitely putting in his work, and we definitely got to shout him out for that. He started a little slow this season, but I think that might be like a rotation issue, especially with reps, which you were talking about with Obi, which is actually the next topic, because Obi has developed nicely and continues to show improvement with more minutes, especially when Julius was down with that quad injury. And what should we expect with Obi moving forward? Now, if you watched the last episode, you saw that I had some really some choice words for Obi Toppin and how I felt about how Obi is developing. And he is definitely, I know it, right? He's seen the show. He's like, yo, Rem, I'm going to put a stop to this talk, and I'm gonna ball out. The day after the show, no, the night of the show actually, he dropped a double, like 18 and 11 and 6 assists, and he's been moving. So I definitely like what I see. But what can we expect from Obi moving forward?
8 points in 11 minutes if we're moving forward with Tibbs. I mean, that's basically what you're getting. It depends if they let him loose or not, man. That's really just it. Do you give him the minutes or not? You got to make a decision right now because I don't feel like they can continue on this path with having Randle and Obi on the same team with Tibbs as a coach. It's not going to work. That's just going to be a number 8 pick that's just not being put to use. I see him out there on the floor, and he certainly looks like a guy that was the best player in colleges last year. Yeah, you could definitely see that something's there. It's just about what type of chance is he going to get to show his stuff.
I'm here to issue an apology. It's too early to issue an apology, but I am going to pull back a little bit, and I'm going to give Obi his time. I'm going to let Obi rock out this year and let him continue to blossom, especially when we find out what we're doing with the Julius Randle situation, and we'll figure that out. I'm going to get into the closing thoughts, but before I do so, because we got to talk about RJ. RJ definitely been looking good. He's been showing some good chemistry with Obi as well. Before I get, I wanted to get into this because our second rounder, Deuce McBride, leads all rookies in offensive rating, defensive rating, net rating, and assist turnover ratio with a minimum of 35 games played. So want to shout him out. He's been doing his thing. Great work on that. But let's get to our boy RJ to franchise the future. RJ Barrett is now number 49th in Knicks history in points scored with 3,379 points. He's 21 years old, guys. And we definitely have a lot to look forward to if RJ is in our future. Because remember, the last Knicks rookie that was extended was Charlie Ward. Hopefully, R.J. Barrett is the new one.
That'll be wild if it doesn't happen.
That would be wild.
That would be quite a turn.
Syfe says Knicks fans should be okay with this season. Syfe, I'm going to fight you when you get into the studio just for saying this. Weege, you were 1,000% right, and I'm going to fight you too for being right. We basically played the whole season without D Rose, our best player, and we should look forward to having our older best player next year with these younger cats and see what comes of it. But we're closing the season out solid. We should have a lot to talk about this offseason since our offseason's starting a little bit early. But Roy, you got anything to close out with?
Yeah, I'm definitely. I wouldn't say I'm okay with how the season went. I'm okay with some of the strides I've seen from certain players to close out the season. But I mean, listen, anybody who's talking all the stuff about we were missing players, there's been injuries, we were missing Derrick Rose, Tibbs hasn't had enough to work with. I'm not really trying to hear that because of the fact that I've seen points in this season where we came across players have shown the ability to get the job done. Yeah. I've seen points in games where certain players got hot and they would have been able to really help us, change the results of certain games. But then next thing you know, they were sent to the bench for somebody who didn't have it. I've seen Tom Thibodeau run away and dodge his blessings too many times this season. When players had it going, when these struggling players, these backup quarterbacks that we want to see in the starting lineup actually started to show some damn gut out on the floor, and he sabotaged it all. I've seen a lot of games lost by Tibbs. I'm not saying every game, but I've seen too many times where Tibbs had just enough. He would have been able to pull just enough out of what he had to win certain games, to change certain outcomes, and he went away from it. And that's my beef with it. That's my beef with the coach. That's my beef with what I've seen this year.
That sounds like an early Festivus. I'm not going to lie. We got to wait till December for the Festivus, though. I told y'all, man. It's coming. But, that sounds like somebody who is definitely frustrated with the Knicks organization and front office and head coaching. Like, because it's a little bit crazy. It's a little bit crazy. And he's echoing the sentiments of Twitter and all of Knicks fans right now. But we're going to close it out. Like I said, they've been winning, so we got to close it out on a positive note. And we're going to get to that trivia one more time before we do so. What former Knick is also an NCAA champion, NBA champion, and NBA All-Star? And yes, you got it right. He was not drafted by the Knicks. But the answer is Glenn Rice. I did not know he was an All-Star MVP. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I didn't know he was a Knick.
You don't remember Glenn Rice as a Knick, man?
Remember,
Yo, shout out to Glenn Rice, because Glenn Rice
that?
actually met my pops, man. He showed my pops love in the city. So shout out to Glenn Rice when he was on the Knicks, man. Once a Knick, always a Knick. Shooters gonna shoot. It's your boy Rem.
And I'm Royale.
We out. Peace.